Welcome back to Underground Nutrition's Esoteric Supplements. I'm Scott. It's been a minute since we've done one of these, and today we're coming back with a banger, a supplement that's not a supplement, just a drug, nicotine. Today we answer the question, can nicotine be used as a tool with purpose, or does its addictive properties and carrier methods outweigh its usefulness? Nicotine is a psychoactive drug found in most nightshades. It's in a lot of common foods like tomatoes and eggplants and bell peppers, but it's most abundant in the tobacco plant. Nicotine is essentially a neurotoxin that plants evolved as a pesticide. And in terms of natural selection and Darwin's theory of evolution, what better set of circumstances to guarantee a plant's progeny than a built-in pesticide that's also addictive to human beings? A brief history of tobacco. Tobacco first made its appearance in the Western world when the Native Americans gifted it to Christopher Columbus. Prior to the white man's landing at Plymouth Rock, Native Americans for millennia used the tobacco plant ceremoniously and medicinally. Anyone that's ripped a fat dart after a big meal can attest to tobacco's divine properties. Anyway, once the Western world got a hold of tobacco, we were smoking it, chewing it, boofing it. We were stuffing it in our noses with like actual devices that slammed plugs of tobacco up your nose. Tobacco moved from being a sacred plant with sacred uses to a commercial plant. By now, we all know the risks of smoking tobacco, especially the inorganic garbage that's mass-produced today. But what benefit does the drug itself possess? Great thinkers, artists, philosophers, and even athletes have all seemed to enjoy the drug despite its risks. Well, it improves memory, it improves cognition, it relieves stress, and it improves mood. It's simultaneously a stimulant and a nootropic. The downside, of course, is that it stimulates the release of dopamine, and over time and overuse leads to dependency of the drug, complete with withdrawal symptoms. The biggest downside to nicotine usage is the carriers. Smoking and chewing tobacco in excess is certainly a huge health risk for cancer, heart disease, and stroke. And vaping is even worse. You're inhaling artificially flavored oil mass-produced in Chinese sweatshops, but now a new player has emerged, ZYN. So I started chewing tobacco when I was wrestling in high school. I would dip, my coaches dipped, my friends dipped. We didn't smoke because we were athletes. Dipping is inherently disgusting, and it wasn't long before I started drinking and smoking cigarettes. I smoked Newports through my 20s, and when I started bodybuilding and powerlifting in my early 30s, I decided that smoking was a bad look. Right around this time is when the cool vape wave started, where people were like blowing clouds and doing tricks, and I had convinced myself that vaping was healthier than smoking cigarettes. And I vaped for a solid 6 or 7 years until I quit recently with the help of a product we all know by now, ZYN. And ZYN is just nicotine and some artificial flavors. And in fact, a lot of people are complaining now that ZYN is probably not that healthy for you. And there's other more natural alternatives or companies that are making stuff without like chemicals and shit in it. But anyway, right now we're talking about ZYN. So with the help of ZYN, I quit my nasty vaping habit, and now I'm down to 6 milligram pouches. At first I was doing about 2 cans a day. Now I'm down to less than 1. And my plan is to reduce that to 3 milligrams and to eventually come off of nicotine as a daily habit altogether. The interesting thing about ZYN is I was vaping for a while and I started using ZYN and I felt nicotine again for like the first time. A vape you might use, 10 times an hour if you're holding on to it like I used to. With a pouch, you put a pouch in, it'll last maybe 30, 40 minutes and you take it out and you're sort of nicotine saturated. You get that euphoric stimulant feeling. I feel like I get like focus. I get some work done first thing in the morning. Now, in the Twitter sphere, in the biohacker world, nicotine has kind of come to prominence as being used as a tool rather than an addictive, stupid drug. Recently on Twitter, amongst the fitness crowd and biohackers, nicotine has been discussed a lot. And in fact, this video came in part to a Twitter thread I read by this guy, Noah Ryan. It was a comprehensive thread about nicotine as a tool and its cost-benefit analysis and how somebody can use nicotine as a tool as opposed to nicotine as a crutch. I am one of those people that use nicotine as a crutch. I'm starting the slow process of coming off. Nicotine is a serious drug with serious consequences. I do not drink. I do not do drugs. I quit that a long time ago. One thing I didn't want to quit was nicotine. As I get a little bit older and a little more health conscious, I am starting to feel the effects of vaping and smoking in my 20s and 30s. It's a little harder for me to breathe. I'm convinced that vaping these Chinese elf bars were slowly killing me by design, and I'm glad that I got off of it. What I like to do with these kind of videos is bring it back to the origins of tobacco. Native Americans used tobacco ceremoniously. I do not believe that Native Americans, I have no evidence for this, by the way, but I don't think Native Americans were chain smoking, cigarettes. They used it because of its nootropic and medicinal value. And I think that there is a time and a place in a perfect world where you would utilize nicotine to focus on a project, to enhance your cardio or workout, or even to celebrate or to relax. We should really bring back pipe smoking. But the cost-benefit analysis to nicotine in general is that most people don't have the best willpower and tend to overuse things. And I'm including myself in this. It's easy to see a lot of guys on Twitter who have their shit together, who either are faking having insane willpower or actually do have insane willpower, that can use highly addictive substances at will. I'm not one of those people. It takes a lot of effort for me to not overuse something. So in the end, when it comes to nicotine, if you haven't developed a nicotine habit, I suggest not. There's plenty of other drugs out there to produce a similar effect. But if you are going to use nicotine, use it sparingly, use it as a tool, use it to relax, and don't make a daily habit out of it. Because even a ZYN pouch is kind of disgusting. ZYN is going to be Reddit tier meme soy boy shit. It already is. It's peaked. Like last month, like nobody heard about it, and now it's like every dork is doing ZYN, talking about popping a ZYN. That wave is going to come and go.
And you take ZYN?
I do. I take ZYN. I use ZYN every day. The citrus flavor sucks. Cinnamon's where it's at. I don't want to live forever. What's the Motorhead song? I know I'm going to lose and gambling's for fools, but that's the way I like it, baby. I don't want to live forever. Yeah, that's me. I don't want to live forever.